But our first visit to Academy was at the Queen's Bobby's Rugby Institute, if I've got it right. They're situated in Kempton Park at a wonderful facility. Your general opinion?
I experienced it quite positive, Carl, and again, therefore important that one, and I actually want to recommend parents especially, that just visiting a website gives you a very good idea what goes on, but a site visit's also very good, and I was quite surprised about a couple of things that one were not aware of, and I think they're doing a couple of good things. They're situated probably in an area where it's not the ideal, but be it as it may, my first impressions was quite positive.
Yes, what I liked about them is Arno is now it's difficult. There's 3 shareholders at that institute. First one is Yuxi, previously CTU. The second one is the Queen's Bobby's Rugby Club, and then Arno himself. Arno is running it with his wife, that's his right hand there, and I think it's his mother that's also helping. It's beautiful. It's what it's supposed to be. Rugby side and the administration. That seems to be quite on par.
Yeah, absolutely, Carl. So there's a couple of things that one would want to as you get yourself into the program, you want to see certain things. So for me, it's good to see that they are well marketed. If I say well marketed, the information in terms of all the activities they do on the website. Their website gives very good and solid information, which is in line with what we experienced when we got there. They do have a good entrance approach with regards to the players when they want to come to the academy, and those are things that's important. It's not just a question of you ticking a box, paying the money, and you're in. And then I have to agree with you, one really found a sort of a homely environment for the players, and it's very few academies that can actually boast their own facilities, on-site facilities where players can train and stay. And they've managed to acquire a facility through a church group with whom they are actually in cooperation as well, which is very conducive to young people staying together, and in this case, the rugby boys.
Right. That's all fine. The coaching seemed to be in line. All the coaches got box, level 2?
Level 2 IRB.
They've got a gym nearby within 3 kilometers. They've got a biokineticist, and they've got a physiotherapist also in the vicinity that looks after the kids. So basically, that side is more or less, the rugby side is more or less covered.
Yeah, Carl, the rugby side, in terms of facilities and staff, are well covered. The coaches are qualified. They've got enough coaches. If we just look at the normal criteria that SARU would prefer is at least one coach for 15 players, coaching wise. They are more than well equipped in that sense. And the players have access to all the specialized services. So again, one can be very finicky about the access to the services, in the sense that you would want that to be on site. It is not on site, but it's very close to where the boys are staying and training, and they have daily and basically immediate access to your medical, physio, bio and conditioning facilities, although it is not on site. So like I say, in a perfect world, you would love that to be on site, but it's accessible enough for the boys, so that it forms part of a very good and conducive academy training system.
What would you like to see them improve on? Sorry, just before that, they've got good ties with the Falco Rugby Union and the Blue Bulls Rugby Union. So that's also a big plus for them. I know they placed 2 boys at the Falco Rugby Union. Personally, I feel I'd rather let them play for Quinn's first team. I think they'll get better training there than at the Falco. Personal opinion, I don't see that playing for the Falco really will help you to promote your rugby career. But that's my personal opinion. What would you see improve, that they must improve on to?
Carl, maybe just one comment on what you said. I think there is one major improvement over the years that they've been in existence, where they started as a so-called Falco Academy, where they actually moved from Vereniging, if I'm not mistaken, where they originally started, moved much central now, accessible to clubs and services. But the major improvement is the fact that they now linked up with Harlequins. And they're not only limited to Falco. So our big issue with the Falco, in my mind, obviously, is the fact that the junior structures are like a small union, is a big challenge. They don't have extensive and proper junior structures, and it's financial. You would find that at other unions as well, although they do participate in the so-called B section junior competitions when that is running. So one big improvement in that sense. The big improvement is at the same time, probably also a bit of a negative. So for the boys, where they are involved with Harlequins Rugby Club, they do have to travel to Pretoria for practices and matches, which is off-site, a 40 to 45 minute drive, and probably down the highway not that big an issue, but it's spending time on the road and having obviously a little bit of a risk with players driving there and driving back after matches and practices. But I think the balance for them in the sense is that would have been way more perfect for them to be located closer to Harlequins, but the balance of the benefit now is the fact that they are at least linked with a first league club, Carlton Club in this case, and the boys do have the exposure factor and the coaches towards the Blue Bulls Rugby Union as well. And they actually have the best of 2 worlds, in the sense that they also have the Falco where some of the players can end up.
Yeah, my major gripe with them is the academical courses that they provide the kids for. The generally accepted one is an NQF level 4. That's the matric level. It's costing the parents something like 24,000 Rand. If a guy comes to me looking for employment with that certificate, I will laugh at him. But that's where the whole thing started with the academies, is to be fair to the kids and the parents. And Arno was quite clear that most of the parents in his academy, or his kids, whose kids are in the academy, are not wealthy parents. So I would rather, but I would throw away the 20, well, the course is quoted at 50, almost 50,000 Rand. And with a major discount, it brings down to 22,000 Rand. But still, it's according to me, it's not worth the money. So rather, at that stage, at Arno and them, I would either go for another academy at another institution where they can follow a proper course for between 12 and 18,000. That's already cheaper than this one. And an online course, and spend the money properly, or see it as a break, a gap year, and skip the academy.
Yeah, Carl, I agree with you. I think the cost structure and the content of the course are not in line. You're 100% right. We've done a bit of research with, and there's a lot of so-called long-distance or online educational institutions now in South Africa. And we have had some discussions with several of them over the last couple of months. And the thing is that what the boys are currently doing as part of the academic program, which is obviously a choice, it's not they're not forced to do it, but it's a basic generic management course, which is it's not specialized at all, and they don't have an option to have specialized directions, whereby there's definitely institutions that can, for probably half that price even, that we are aware of, get you into a degree course, a full financial degree course at this stage, and also be able to fulfill your academy needs and training there, because they also have online facilities. So yes, that is one major area of concern. That is one area that we believe they can definitely upgrade seriously or improve seriously, is the academic content. So what they are offering the kids is nationally qualified, so we don't question that. But we don't think that the value and the cost of the course
and the use of the course, it's ridiculous to pay 50,000 if you leave the course before the end of your year at the academy. You are responsible for the whole 50,000 to CTU. It's ridiculous. Skip it. Look back. But that's basically we'll do now the specific points where we agree and not agree on the website. But that's basically that. I mean, great effort from the staff and the management and the ownership. I like Arno, I like the way he thinks and everything, but only the two problems.
Yeah, Carl, if you look at the ballpark evaluation of it being an academy, one should probably say on the basis of that, they are very well situated, and they've been very keen, immediately been very keen to open up their doors for a visit from our side. And like I say, we're not a body trying to do someone's work. We are here to advise parents and players, and in the times that we are living at the moment, there are a lot of desperate people out there, and we're going to advise people on where we think would be a better opportunity for them and their kids, based on a lot of discussions we already had on our programs of what should I look for. So it depends on what the individual needs of a kid are at that point in time, and where him and his parent want him actually to be in the next 3 years from now, So that's going to vary. That's going to take him to other parts of the country, or it might in the end just take him to a club where, you know, no point going to an academy. So and our guidelines are based on what we feel is proper and right in terms of the desperate times that we have now, and we're going to advise people based on that, and I really think that that Arun and them has done a lot of great homework, put in good structures where kid can be safe in a lot of ways, where you know, where it's probably different at other places.
So that's it. That's the Queen's Bobby's Rugby Club, or International Rugby Institute. We chuffed. I will send my boy there, but only for a gap year. I won't, the rest I will skip. Good people, I think they will have good influence on the kids, character-wise and that kind of stuff. Arnon, your staff, great stuff. We enjoyed your visit, or we enjoyed visiting you. Thanks, Bart.
Yeah, thanks, Carl. It was a good experience. Thanks. Good morning. It's our privilege this morning to welcome two guests on our program today, our Ruggas version of, and maybe a little bit of an investigation into academies, rugby academies specifically. And we were invited to visit a very interesting academy and rugby location here on the East Rand. I was privileged to grow up on the East Rand, so this is my valley. My two guests here on my left-hand side, Gert, nearest to me, and Arno, furthest from me. Gents, please just give us a short introduction and of yourself and what your role is at the academy, and also with regarding to your role at the club, Gert.
Yeah, thanks Bart. Thanks also for coming through. Yeah, my name is Gert Mulder. I'm the Director of Rugby at Harlequins Rugby Club. The Harlequins International Rugby Factory is actually a feeder system that we use at our club. That is actually our involvement, and they're doing huge work for us to get a sustainable club system in place, and that we don't just focus on one team, but we focus on the growth of the whole club.
Arno, your specific role?
Yeah, my name is Arno Kilian. I'm the Director of Rugby at the Harlequins International Rugby Factory. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to come and visit us this morning. It's always nice to tell you guys a little bit more about ourselves. I think we're a gem in the East Rand that's not well known. And I think you guys doing the effort and trouble to come and visit us, that we can explain to you what we're about, gives us the opportunity to tell you what we stand for, what we would like to achieve, and what our plan is at the end of the day, and what differences we want to make, not just on the field, but off the field of play as well, which I believe is important to do in regards to developing our youth and investing in our youth, because we believe they are the future of tomorrow.
Thanks, Arno. Gert. I think a very important thing is, and we've made a couple of points about this over the last few weeks, that we had a look at the whole academy program, criteria, and the way that we feel it should be applied. I don't think there's a perfect model. Everyone would like to refer, and you gents would know, having a rugby background as players and coaches, there are very well known and very good institutions that you would find in Europe, for example. Many people are saying that the Irish model is as close as possible to the perfect model. The difference is you've got 4 relatively small provincial setups that are 100% linked nationally to the national body, and that line is drawn right through down to the bottom at the club level. So it's easy to manage that. So saying that, we do have a couple of challenges, and maybe more than a couple, with regards to our rugby models in South Africa, being very expansive, very diverse in terms of clubs, in terms of unions, and also the application from our national body side. So we know that we are all trying to be in line with what the perfect model is. And I think the message we want to get from you, gents, is over and above the rugby content that you do deliver, what are the sideline elements? What are the values that you stand for? Because we all agree that in sports, it is about the total development of a youngster. And that is what we would like to hear today. So if we can start with the nuts and bolts of the academy and how it was originally located where it is, Arno, the financial input into it. Give us a bit of background on how we ended up where we are here.
Well, thanks. I think what we need to take in consideration, I think each academy is unique. I think you can't have a model that's going to work for each academy. I think each academy brings something different to the table. I think what we try to do is we try to enhance the player off the field as much as we try and enhance them on the field. And that we're doing through courses that we present, life skill coaching. We got a sports chaplain staying on our premises in our hostel to assist the boys to work with them on a spiritual level. Then we have dedicated sports scientists. We've got biokinetics, and we got physios that looks after the boys off the field with their conditioning and so forth. Then we got qualified coaches on the skill side, and on the sports specific side, as you would say, in your individual in your positional specific skills that is needed to be enhanced. So I think it's an all-over program. It's not just what we do off the field, what we do on the field. The boys do a spiritual enrichment course, which is part of our program. The boys do all their World Rugby-related coaching and refereeing courses. And we also look at doing things differently in regards to making sure that the boys create a pathway off the field as well. We know that rugby is only for a select few, but I think if we do the things that we say we want to do and make a difference, that's what makes us unique. I think that's what is the difference why we are at where we at and where we are at this point is to change lives. We in 4 years of being rebranded. We started in 2013 and was known as the Falke Rugby Factory. I bought the rugby factory over in 2017, relocated it to Kempton Park as we have this beautiful premises that is to our benefit for the boys. We got a 5-hectare property with our own rugby field. We got our own dam where the boys do all the rehabilitation in. The guys can play soccer and rugby, cricket, volleyball, and that makes it a difference. We also have a full-time hostel manager staying in. We got our own kitchen. We supply the drive-in players as well as the stay-in players with food, which is part of the plan in regards to recovery and to get the boys to be and get all the nutrients in that get lost during practice and when we play as well. So I think it's a bit of this, bit of that. And I think it's all about trial and error. We haven't gotten here because we are perfect. I think we got here because we have partnered up with the right club called QBR in Pretoria, which is our club who we play in the under-20 competition in the Blue Bulls. And I think we have been successful with the club in regards to the leagues that we played in. We played in the Volcano Cup, which we won against the Tix Young Guns. We also played in the President's Cup against Naka Bulls, which we also won. And that happened because I believe that trophies will follow you when you do the right things right. And I think player development is key. I think if you can get the player to play what happens in front of them rather than to play in a structure, you get the result. So that's basically everything summed up, if I can say that.
Yeah, Arno, thanks. That's I think a very good background. I would like to come back with regards to the player pathway, but before we go there, Gert, just explain to us, because I've personally got a big issue about the alignment of academies, and what I mean with that is I strongly believe that an academy at whichever level it is has got to be aligned to the top and down to the bottom. So to the top, who is the club that I service or service me as an academy? In your case, it is Harlequins or QBR. What is the link from the club to the next level? You need to know that the next level, which in our sense is the province, so Blue Bulls Rugby Company in that sense, and then from the academy down to underneath the academy, which is a link with the schools. So where does a club fit into this golden line, and how do you see that cooperation benefiting school players coming in from below and also going from the club to possibly getting opportunities at provincial level?
Yeah, as you said as well, the Irish has got the ideal system in place. We've got too many levels in South Africa. Because it's schoolboy level, it's club, it's junior level, under 90s, under 20s. Then it used to be the Vodacom Cup, and then the Currie Cup, and then Super Rugby, and then you get to international. Whereas in Europe, they've got 2 or 3 tiers that they're working in. So it is a difficult system to walk through. It is so important for us at the club to evolve and to grow organically from the bottom up, and not just to go and buy players and spend a lot of money on contracts. So we want to get our broad-based at the bottom, but with quality players coming through. So we also invested into the academy. So the club has got shares in the academy, which is running perfectly and fantastic for us as well. But we are also not just there to collect the players for the club. We also want to invest in the players if they need to go to a provincial level in another province. We're not there to block any players that can get a provincial contract. But eventually when their contract ends, we've got a loyal player that will come back and they will reinvest their skills and their abilities back into our system. So that is actually throwing the bread on the water and knowing that it will come back to us. And yes, so the main thing is for us is to develop the players, give them the opportunities on whichever level to grow as a player, and especially getting through to the Bulls. But it is a bottleneck. If they don't get to play there, then they can go to any other province as well. So eventually, that is our product. That is what we're selling, is to develop players for the whole country.
I think that comes back to the pathway, Arnie, that you referred to. And what I like to hear is the fact that you earlier in a discussion mentioned that you had several players from the previous season being contracted at, for example, SWD. You've got players involved at the Falker setup. You've got players that's been that's moved as student coaches to various schools. So it's great to hear that the catch net for the academy is the club. That's a direct link, but that they're not limited to the club itself, which is good to hear. So a player that gets an opportunity, do you have an arrangement, for example, that the club would have sort of first option on a player that's at the academy, or are there no guidelines of that nature?
I'm going to answer that on the club's behalf. If we can get a player to play at a union, that's first prize. If we can get them into a varsity cup at a university, that's second prize. And then the club would use the players that didn't get taken up into that streams, which is still need to develop and grow. They would look after those players. And through the club, we create the opportunities then for the boys to go overseas. We got a lot of clubs that invest in our players to go and play in their season when we in our off season. So that is a one hand washes the other hand scenario. So for us, the first prize is to get the player to be the best he can be where he is needed. If it's at club, it will be at the club. If it's provincial, it's at provincial. If it's at a tertiary institution, that is where we would send the player. And there's no guideline and rule exactly how it needs to happen. If the opportunity arises, we will back the player in that regards. That's what it's about. It's about creating an opportunity for a player to be the best he can be and go and portray his skills that we have enhanced through our institution.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Arno. Maybe on the pathway and the earlier comment that you made, you've got an interesting scenario that you sort of use to your benefit at your facility. I think it's most likely very much to the benefit of your senior union as well. You've got some senior players staying on location tell us a little bit of the mix of senior players located here, the effect of their presence with the junior players staying here, and also maybe just a short description of your in-house players and also players attending, let's call it as day students.
If you refer to senior players, we are referring to the Falke senior rugby players that are currently contracted to the Falke Rugby Union that plays in the first division and then also plays in, like Coach Gert would remember, the Super Sport Challenge. So we have the privilege of having 12 of those senior players on our premises, staying in the hostel, which is nice for us as they are bringing a seniority to the hostel and to our environment, which is nice because there's the example that gets set by the senior players. The juniors get the opportunity that comes through our institution to interact with the Falke senior players and understand what the challenges are, what is needed from you to become a professional or a semi-professional player. Doing that, we have the opportunity to practice with the Falke senior team twice a week, where we would physically go and we would do lineouts and we would do set plays against one another, and we would do a chakas where we would get the opportunity to play against one another when we are allowed to do so, and that gives the boys the opportunity to see what it's about, how fast the game is, how hard the game is at a senior level, and through doing that, the juniors get an opportunity to be seen by a senior provincial coach. All right. So doing that, it creates opportunities for the boys on a provincial level. We are not just tied to the Falke Rugby Union, for example. The year before, last year, when we had the opportunity to play, we had boys represented at the Falke Rugby Union, at the Pumas Rugby Union, at the Limpopo Bulls. So we give the boys the opportunity to get pathways through the different unions, looking for exciting young players, and through that, that's what we do. So the club helps us to get these boys into the different portals where we got the relationship with the various unions, and in doing so, we create that opportunity for them. We can create an opportunity, but like we explained to the boys, it's what you do when you get the opportunity. I can make you the best you can be. We can upskill you, we can condition you, we can make you as fit as you can be, but at the end of the day, when you get into the arena, it's what you do for yourself. There's a lot of the boys that has come to our institution, which we believe are late developers. There's boys that fall through the cracks, that was never seen, that didn't come out of a mainstream school, but they just need an opportunity to prove to themselves that they can compete with the best out there. And that's what we try to do. We want to show and give these boys that didn't get the opportunity to grow, not just as a rugby player, but as a person as well. Because we have found that good people become great players. That's just unfortunately how it is. If you have discipline and you have respect and you get taught the means and the ways of how to deal with pressure situations, then that will help you in life, not just as a rugby player, but as an individual, and maybe as someone that is going to have their own company one day.
Yeah. Arno, what I like about that, it's very much value-based, and not that one can discard logistical elements that needs to be in place. We all know there's certain things that need to be in place. You don't want your players to be sleeping tonight in the change room of a club or kind of thing, that perception. So, your facilities should be accessible, I'm sure, on the website, and you'll probably, we'll also be screening some of the videos of your facilities. The facilities are important as well. So just maybe on the logistical side, shortly, what is your situation with regards to general fees for players coming in, fees for onboarding players, and also your principle regarding possible bursaries? And I know this is a person-to-person thing. You don't have a carte blanche way of handling it, but I think it's important that the people out there know that there is considerations when it comes to this stuff. And I also know that the club contributes to making it possible for players attending here.
Yeah.
So just maybe shortly in terms of the logistical background of players entering here.
100%. Basically, I feel as a parent, sometimes you need to invest in your child, and you need to make an informed decision when investing in your children's future. Now, we're not going to guarantee that we're going to make your son a Springbok. We've never said that. We're not going to guarantee you that your son's going to play provincial rugby. But what we're going to say is we're going to create an opportunity for him to firstly find himself in an environment that's controlled. This is a controlled environment. There is rules, there's discipline, there's respect. And that's what the foundation is of anything to become successful. Time management is important. The guys are in a pressure cooker. They need to understand that nothing comes for if you don't work hard for it, and that's what we do here. The boys get up early in the morning. Their program starts at 7 o'clock in the morning. They finish at 12:30, and in that time they would have had 2 practices. They would have had lunch, and they would probably have had a one-on-one session or a mental toughness session in regards to how tough the session was, how we're going to get through the session the following day, and so forth. So that is what we try and establish here. The facility we have is of such a sort that it caters for driving players and stay-in players. So we can cater for everyone and anyone that would like to take up the opportunity to stay in. There's an opportunity for them to stay in. There's an opportunity to drive in as well. We've got guys that stays 30 kilometers away from us that is a stay-in player because they want to get a different feeling of how it would be to be self-sustainable, if I can say it that way. You know, come out of their parents' house and become a young adult. So that's what we try and do. We create that safe space for them where they can interact with one another, that they can know who they are and what they want to do for themselves in life. Now, saying that, there is a cost involved, like it must be. It is not easy to do what we do. We have coaches, we have sports scientists, we have a bio, we have a physio, and all that kind of stuff needs to be covered. And in doing so, there's a fee that is applicable to our 10-month program, and that will differ from person to person. Our yearly fees is 65,000 Rand a year as a drive-in player or a stay-in player, and that would cover all the things that I've mentioned to you, including their lunches that get supplied daily, which is part of our program, their spiritual enrichment course, all the different courses that we need to present rugby related. I'll get to the CTU now, and then it also includes their kit. You know, we supply them with kit, we supply them with strapping, we supply them with all that kind of stuff, which would usually be additionally to any other program, if I can say it that way. But there is a bursary, and the bursary is given to each and every player on the information we receive back, the references we call in regards to the player, as well as a battery test that we would do in regards to see what is the player's ability there and then. Not preparing for a certain agility or speed test or a strength test or what the situation may be, because that would show character. And I think character at the end of the day is what the difference is in regards to an average and above average player. So we test the character through a battery test. On the information that we get and the battery test, we will offer bursaries to players. We would like to invest into that players as well. So that bursary comes from our bottom line. And that's what we do. So that is our cost in regards to the program for the year. And then additionally to the program, the fees would be 40,000 Rand for the boys to stay in. And that will include their meals Mondays to Fridays, their laundry, their security, and everything that would go to make their life as easy as possible and as comfortable as possible while they're with us for that 10-month period. So in a nutshell, that's what it's all about. And yeah, we don't hide the cost. We don't have to hide the cost. We don't inflate the cost. We just would like to create the opportunities, like we said, through that. CTU, our academic partner, they're also involved. on the education, the academic side, where they come and they invest in the boys as well. They give a bursary of 29,000 rand to each boy that wants to study further. The curriculum they will be following is generic management. Generic management is what we've decided that fits in with our program nicely, where the boys have class 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and then it gets presented on site in our classroom. So it's a nice balance. And then the parents have a balance of 18,000 rand for their studies for the year. So there's a big saving. So with a bursary from our side and a bursary from CTU, we try and make it affordable for parents to send their children to us and give them the opportunity just to not just to play rugby, but to study and start building a career as well.
No, thanks, Arno. I know we're running out of time a little bit, but I think this is invaluable information. People can research, obviously, and information will be available. They can contact you as well. We'll provide all the contact numbers at the end of the program. But maybe just lastly, what I do like about this scenario in terms of the golden line is you don't only have the option of the players going from club to the Bulls, and or for that matter any other union. Your involvement at the Volker actually creates a very good bubble of development for the players, where in terms of practices. The last thing I would just like you to give a little bit of information, because that is very important. You're making use of partners, so let's call it speciality or specialist partners out there in the industry. We've spoken about someone like Philip Lemmer and his high performance center that he runs actually not far from here, and Philip himself is involved as a Super Rugby coach at the moment. To what extent do you cut into using specialists like this to enrich the boys at the campus?
At the end of the day, we've got a saying, if as a coach you don't learn from anyone else anymore, then you should stop coaching. Then you're not going to add value. And that's where we have the relationship with various coaches, from the Lions, from the Bulls, from the Volker, from the Pumas, that will come and present a specific training course with the boys, or a practice session, let's call it that way, where we will focus on certain elements that we seem we will be lacking. Something that we maybe can't get through to the boys, we will get someone out like a Philip Lemmer. We had Neil De Bruin here, we had David Manuel here, we had Coach Gert here, we had Coach JP Immelman from the Volker here. So this is a how can I say it? This is an open arena where we invite coaches that would like to make a difference, which can add value, which can come and help and assist us to create a better player, then we do it. And that's the nice collaboration we have. That's the same synergy we have with our physios and with our bios and with our biokinetics, because at the end of the day, they are specialists in their field. And you need to get the specialists in from time to time to make sure that they do what they need to do. Our sports scientist, Perrin Miles, is probably one of the best sports scientists out there. He's got his own business. He does a certain aspect of all our conditioning for us. David van Wyk, he's got his own practice as well. He was the Lions head coach, head physio for 5 years. So we associate with people that has the same passion as us, because I think passion is the key to the success of any institution. If there's no passion, there's no drive, and there's no willingness to be different, then we're just going to stagnate, and then we're going to close our doors. If we don't make the difference that we want to make on and off the field, then we're all wasting our own time, we're wasting the parents' money, and that's in vain.
Arno, Gert, thank you very much, gents. I know it's a short space of time to sell what you are doing here, and if I say sell, it's maybe not the right word. Then we're leaning over to a business model, and that's not what we're trying to do. But I think the idea is out there. Parents, players, coaches are welcome to communicate with you,
Right.
and we'll be able to get hold of you. Thank you also for your time today and being open and honest about values. And like I say, no model would ever be perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
To be better, you probably need more money as well. But in the end, it's about the outset and the product that you deliver here. And we hope to think that the program like this and future programs that we're going to do would eventually contribute to aligning the values that we see coming from academies. And good luck with what you are doing.
Thank you.
Well done with a fantastic setup and program that you've put together. And may you go from strength to strength.
Thank you, sir. Much appreciated. I want to thank you guys for taking the time and coming to listen what our hearts are about. I think that's what the most important thing is. Compare apples with apples. Competition is a good thing. I believe that keeps you on your toes and makes sure that you do what you said you're going to be doing. Otherwise, you're going to lose your player or your parent. And yeah, we would just like to go from strength to strength. And we invite anyone that would like to have more info from us to go to our website. It's www.rugbyfactory.co.za. To get the information on there, they can contact us. They can come and visit us at any time. Feel free to come just pop in and come have a look at what we have to offer.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Good day, my name is Arnu Kilian. I'm the Rugby Factory Director. I would like to introduce the Rugby Factory to you. We are known as the Harlequin International Rugby Factory, based in Kempton Park. The Rugby Factory was established in 2013, based in Van der Bijl Park. And recently we moved to Kempton Park, rebranded it to the Harlequin International Rugby Factory. We have under 19 and under 20 boys that has finished matric to come and join our program, which is an on and off the field program. Our on-field program consists of specialized coaching through recognized international qualified coaches, as well as our collaboration with a biokinetic, sports scientist and a physio that looks after the boys on and off the field with their rehabilitation and their conditioning. We have also an off-field program with our partner CTU, which is our academic partner, which helps the boys to start with a career off the field, and they are studying generic management, which is a one-year course, and that helps them to prepare for whatever may come later in life.
My name is Vian Karlitz. I am from Kempton Park. Rugby is always, it's a fun thing, you know. People, they come here, you know, to express themselves on the rugby field, and then the CTU comes along so that you don't get lazy while you're training rugby, because yes, you can train, you can push yourself beyond the limits, but also to have that education, you know, to if rugby doesn't work out, so that you can have something beyond that, so that you can continue your career, maybe in the rugby instance, for example, maybe become a director for a team or doing in something in that line. And I feel like so far CTU has been it's been amazing. You push yourself, your teammates push you, and the coaches push you. So it's like this bowl of motivation that you go through, and I feel like fueling each other, doing what you must, and doing the extra sessions. That's what's going to bring you beyond the certain point that you want to be at. At the beginning of the year, we had every Wednesday, I think it was, we had team building, where all the Oaks would come here. We would play volleyball outside. We play cricket on the main field. We would play. I think it was ping pong in the gaming room, play PlayStation, you know, just bonding with the Oaks, you know, get to know them on a personal level instead of just on the rugby field, waiting for the pass or covering your inside or whatever. Knowing those guys, getting to know them, and then building a relationship with them, I feel like that's the most fun I've ever had in a long time.
I'm Jean Puerta. I come from a small town on the East Rand called Springs. I think there's something special here in the Harlequins that every player has a connection with each other and they're very close together as a team.
Hello everyone, my name is Makikaya George Malunjo. I've always been someone who wanted to play rugby. Not rugby and such, but when I was young, when someone would ask me, what do you want to do when you grow up? I'll say, I just want to play. I've always been into sports, and through high school I got more connected into rugby and I started playing rugby and started doing well in it. And my last year I made provincials and I was really aiming high and I thought I'm going to go further with my rugby. But when the year came, 2020, there was nothing for me. And one of my old coaches, who plays for QBR, told me about Harlequins and connected me to here. And got the opportunity to come here. And from there on, it has been a very fantastic journey being around here. My dream has always been to be involved with sports. So if I don't play, I get the chance to coach or to help somewhere. Well, the rugby and coaching here for me is the next level. Coming from a small town in Messina, this is not what you're exposed to growing up. This is completely a different scenario. My first few weeks here were quite very, very difficult. I had to keep up with the boys. There are a lot of new things that I was learning, but I've adjusted and I think I've settled well, and I'll rate this place as a very, very top-notch academy in every aspect.
I'm Dylan Smith. I'm from the Western Cape. I'm 19 years old. I'm from George. I live in George. I grew up in George. So we're doing a coaching course here. The first year we do a level 1, second year we do a level 2. So I'm hoping to go into coaching after rugby.
We create a pathway. We help the boys to achieve their dream, to make sure that they get what they deserve, and that we better understand the needs and the challenges that the boys are facing. Our facility is geared up for everything that I've explained. We are situated on a 5-hectare property in Kempton Park. We have a hostel, we have classroom, we have a games room, we have our own rugby field, and we are blessed that we can be able to offer everything to the boys on site. We've got a rugby campus, as you can call it, and we like to make a difference wherever we can.
My name is Gary Plant. I'm from the Afrikaans Baptist Church in Kempton Park, Gauteng, and it's good to be able just to share some of our experiences with you today. It's our privilege to be able to have the opportunity of ministering to these young men who've just come out of school and have the opportunity of using the gifts and their talents that the Lord has given them for the honor and glory of God. And at the same time, we help them with a spiritual enrichment course where they have an opportunity of asking questions, and then where we also then guide and lead them through the Word of God to be able to encourage them in their walk of life in various ways, physical, emotional, spiritual circumstances in their lives where they have challenges. They'll obviously speak to the coaches with regards to their physical well-being and also the practicing and training for the rugby. From our perspective in the church, we also then assist them with, at times, counseling if they need that, and then we help them with the spiritual enrichment courses.
My name is Perrin Miles. I'm a sports scientist. I started my gym 20 years ago this year, 20 years old this year. And in that period worked with countless professional guys, so it was my passion to work with young rugby players and semi-professionals. So I've really focused working with the boys, at schoolboy level, under 20 level, because that's the place where you can sort of really make a difference. Harlequins Rugby Factory, I've been working with them for 2 years, and we've got some great results. It's just a big pity this year that the boys haven't got any rugby time. I really enjoy working with these guys, because simply this factory, they give a wholesome breakdown,
I'm David van Wyk, physiotherapist. I'm the preferred provider for the Harlequins International Rugby Factory. Started with a passion for rugby at school level. Decided to become a physio and work with professional rugby players, and I had the opportunity to end up being the physio for the Lions Super Rugby team. was an amazing time. But at some point I decided to jump out of the game and just start working for myself again. And I had another opportunity meeting Arnu and Reinhard, part of the rugby factory. Obviously rugby is a contact sport, so you always get injuries, and that's where I come in. So I would treat them, assess first, treat, and then for me communication is really important. Communicating to the coaches, explaining to them what's the problem, how long the player will be out for, and then obviously determining an outcome. And they're such a great bunch of guys, they're so positive, they really look forward to training really hard, and for me it's just making sure that they maintain their good form and that they enjoy what they do and do it without injury.
And we look forward to welcoming you to the Harlequin International Rugby Factory in the future. If you have anyone that you can think of that can maybe benefit out of what we have to offer, not just on but off the field, please be so kind to give us a call in that regards. Thank you.